As many of you might know, the final update, the last bit of content, true content, was dropped by Owlcat the other day for Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. And this is, in some sense, if you think about it, a truly monumental event in the history of CRPGs. Because you have to understand, Owlcat has been laboring away with great diligence and passion for over 3 years. And in that time, they've released a whole bunch of content. And so with the Game of the Year edition of Wrath of the Righteous, you can purchase the game and get all the things that have been released in these previous 3 years. And I have to say at the outset, as is implied by the title, now is the time to play Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous if you've been waiting on it. If you've been waiting for bug fixes, DLC, expansions, everything, this is the time to play the game. Because all the things you've been waiting for have arrived. Now I want to talk a little bit about Owlcat themselves as a studio, but I've made this clear many times, and I even made a top 5 CRPG of the last 10 years video, and surprise, surprise, Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous was my number 1 pick. In my humble opinion, it is the number 1 CRPG of the previous 10 years, and it is easily one of the greatest CRPGs of all time. If you're interested in CRPGs, then this is simply a game you cannot miss. Now, a lot of people that are curious about the game that I've recommended it to are often people that have something of an aversion to isometric games. I personally have never had this aversion. It's probably related to my age. But if you can get over your aversion or your hesitation, this is going to be easily one of the best CRPG experiences you've ever had. The key to this magnificence is the fact that Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous has a ton of replayability in addition to a ton of content. There are different ways of exploring the game, and all of these are mediated by the rather epic mythic paths that this game has to offer. There are 10 different mythic paths in total, and all of them offer different ways of experiencing the game in terms of your alignment, your ethics, your morals, but also the flavor. So for example, whilst you can play a chaotic evil demon, that still feels different than playing a purely evil lich. And the same is true of playing a chaotic good Azata versus a lawful good angel. There is a ton of nuance here, a ton of variation, flavor, as I said, and this is probably at the end of the day what makes this game so impactful, so good. The story is also pretty good, obviously. There's a ton of build variety and fun, so many different ways you can play the game by mixing and matching different classes. And of all the CRPGs out on the market, there's simply nothing like this. If you're curious, if you like CRPGs, if you like role-playing, if you like different types of build, if you like feeling powerful and epic, this is the game for you. Again, easily one of the best CRPGs of all time. Not just in the last 5 years, not just in the last 10 years, of all time. And so with these final updates, I enjoin you, I urge you to go check out this game if you've not played it yet. You've missed out on a real treat. Now beyond this, I want to talk a little bit about Owlcat as a studio. They started with Pathfinder Kingmaker, a game that came out in 2018, which was a very good game, but it had some issues, and then took huge leaps and strides in terms of quality, progression, and just improvement, moving from Kingmaker to Wrath of the Righteous. And I'm currently playing Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader, and this is in some sense even more polished, even more refined than Wrath of the Righteous, even though Wrath of the Righteous is a game that I personally prefer. Owlcat is, in my humble opinion, the number 1 game developer in the world right now. Now that's a bold statement, but take into consideration that I prefer playing CRPGs, I enjoy role-playing games, and Owlcat makes the types of games that I love. Now I place them even higher than Larian, and you might ask yourself why. And that's for a very specific reason. Larian is a great studio, easily my number 2 studio in the world. But Larian is, I would say, less focused on making specific types of games that are tailored to a specific customer base than Owlcat is, in the sense that they try to appeal to everyone, which is a very dangerous thing potentially, even though they pulled it off very well for Baldur's Gate 3, and Owlcat is just hyper-focused on making those autistic, nerdy CRPGs that we, the people who love such games, adore and love playing. And they're always looking to improve themselves, they're always looking to learn new things, and they treat their customers really, really well. The fact that they added free archetypes in the game with various expansions, the fact that they ask the customer, i.e. the players, what they think and very detailed polls. They really want to hear what you think as a player and customer, and then craft that experience for you. And perhaps the most important thing, and they share this in common with many people at Larian, for the record, is that most of the staff at Owlcat are gamers themselves. They are nerds themselves. They love this stuff. D&D, Pathfinder, Warhammer 40k. They nerd out about the same things that we nerd out about. And that is, in my humble opinion, probably the best prerequisite you could ever have before you start making a game. Because you're not just making a game for a invisible, unknown customer base. You're making a game for yourself in a sense, because you are at the end of the day more or less the same customer base. So Owlcat has all the qualities you could ever want in a studio. They work hard, they're self-correcting, they maintain a great relationship with their customers, a very personal one that I appreciate. They make fantastic CRPGs with choice, consequence, lots of opportunities for different builds, and they're just a fantastic studio overall, my #1 studio in the world. And I think with the release of this final version of Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, I strongly recommend this game. It's absolutely fantastic. I also want to thank Owlcat for this great gift of a game and for all the hard work they put in. You've definitely earned my trust, and I know for a fact the trust of many others. So I am hyped about your future projects, and I'm looking forward to them. I hope you try out Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. I hope you love it as much as I do and many other people do. And, as always, thank you for tuning in. And if you like my content and my takes, you can leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. It's much appreciated, as it helps out the algorithm, the channel, and I'll check you out next time. Take care.